Welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
I'm Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube, and Instagram with new episodes on Tuesdays. All right, so it's Thanksgiving time in the Buffyverse.
Right.
So this is definitely, I like the title of this episode. It's called Pangs. So it's like obviously like hunger pangs, and then like the pangs like with hunger with Spike, hunger with the actual Thanksgiving dinner, how like
all the pangs.
The pangs, like the emotional pangs.
Yes, very emotional.
Buffy, mostly Angel. So yeah, I thought it was a great name for the episode.
It was cute.
Yeah. So we're gonna sit down to a big Buffy Thanksgiving dinner over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, so Pangs initially aired November 23rd, 1999, written by Jane Ebsenson and directed by Michael Lang. And the synopsis is, unbeknownst to Buffy, Angel lurks in the shadows of Sunnydale, trying to protect her and keep her safe, while her perfect Thanksgiving feast is disrupted by an army of Chumash Indians, the original inhabitants of Sunnydale, whose spirits have come alive to recreate the wrongs that were done to their people. So, what did you think of this episode?
I liked it, actually. I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah, this is one of the funniest episodes.
And it just had a lot of stuff going on for it.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I think it was kind of a little bit ahead of its time because in 1999, I don't think anybody was, people were, but like mainstream, people were not talking about as much as they are today, all these years later, about like Thanksgiving holiday versus like the myth around Thanksgiving and like the indigenous cultures and all of that, and how those
very good point.
Clash.
We were blissfully ignorant back then, I feel like.
I think like it wasn't quite as just a normal topic as it is today, and they did like broach that topic with this episode.
Yeah.
Whether they
did it slightly appropriately
justice or not is one thing, but the issue was brought up. You know what I mean? Like they did like in the Buffyverse bring up this issue. So I thought that was interesting because I remember it was 1999.
That's true.
And I think the average person now, like everybody, like I think.
But at the time, it's not something we maybe realized.
The topic wasn't as like mainstream and as like widely talked about. Like I think everybody talks about it now, thankfully.
Yeah, I feel like I just didn't really know back then.
Yeah,
like I didn't connect the dots.
And like Columbus Day is now also like Indigenous People Day, stuff like that. Like that's relatively new development. So yeah, I thought it was actually interesting that they had brought this issue up on the Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah.
So okay. So we get it previously on, just reminding us about Riley, the initiative, Spike's implant, that Riley is interested in Buffy.
We didn't really get much of Riley this episode.
Not really. He was just like, hey.
Yeah.
But it's campus at night. That's where we start the episode. There's a boy walking home, I'm assuming, and he looks a little bit like looking around, unsure. Yeah. He looks a little bit unsure.
He hears a sound.
He looks like, what is that? Like you think, oh, the vampire's gonna jump out and kill this kid, right? Or a demon.
Yeah.
But Buffy jumps out and knows right away that punches him, and then he vamps out. So she knew right away, she has sixth sense, that he was a vampire.
Go Buffy.
And I thought it was funny, not funny, that he said, like, go back to where you came from. Things were great before you came here. I was like, I wonder who he's voting for.
Yes.
So I was like, we hear that a lot nowadays. So yeah, she stakes him, and she kind of gets this feeling that after she stakes him, she's looking around like she feels like someone's watching her. And we see that Angel is actually watching her from the shadows.
Yeah, I didn't like that, to be honest with you.
Were you surprised to see him, though?
I was very surprised to see him, and I just wasn't happy to see him because he left, and we were finally over him, and we moved on.
Okay, so you weren't even happy that he was there?
Nope.
Okay. So on that, we go to the credits, and when we come back, we're on campus again, but we are at the Cultural Center ceremony, where they're doing a like breaking ground ceremony for the new Cultural Center, because the other one got too small. So Professor Gearhart is doing the speech, and Xander has gotten a job in construction. So he's there getting ready to start.
Anya's delight.
Yeah, she likes to watch him dig. So Buffy, Willow, and Anya are watching the ceremony slash Xander
Well,
dig.
Anya's watching Xander.
Yeah, she's very into this. Like her, who knew shoveling was a kink for her?
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Xander, honestly, Xander looks surprisingly muscular.
yeah.
I mean, I think because they play him up as kind of doofy, so,
Hmm.
like, to see him in the construction, I was kinda like, "Oh, weird." That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah. So he's there working.
Yep.
And I thought it was kind of like funny that Buffy says, "Oh yeah, totally not like, yeah, he's hot or something, but not in a Village People way." Buffy's one to talk with that cowboy hat on.
Yeah, what was that?
Ew!
Yeah,
Stop. Take it
yeah.
off. Throw it
That
in that
wasn't
chamber when Xander. Throw it in after Xander. I'm like, you're one to talk about the Village People, Buffy. Look at you. Look what you're wearing. Look at your life. Look at your choices. So, sorry. Go ahead.
Willow was all like, what a load of horse hooey."
Yeah, because the professor's talking about how it's like so timely that they're breaking ground on this so close to Thanksgiving, a time
Mhm.
when cultures came together, and Willow's like, oh, yeah, horse hooey, you know, what a like a lie that we just like
Yeah,
seamlessly came together with these indigenous cultures when
yeah.
that is not the truth.
People just, like, broke bread at the table all peacefully.
Yeah, and everyone just lived together forever and happily, and it's fine.
Nobody stole anybody's land.
No, nobody was killed or
No.
diseased. It didn't happen. So yeah, Willow was really like annoyed that
Yeah, yeah. We're
this
just
is kind of
glossing over.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she said that's why her mom doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving or Columbus Day, and Willow's like, but she's right. Like she's right that this happened. And Buffy's like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I never really thought about it that way.
Mhm.
And then starts digging, but the ground collapses underneath him, and he falls into
Yeah,
like a chamber.
like a pit? Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of looks around and there's like a wall. There's like walls, so it definitely was
Like, it looked like something,
something.
yeah.
It wasn't like a sinkhole. Yeah,
Yep.
it was like actually a
Some sort of
place.
underground
Yeah.
thing, crypt.
Yes, but he's okay. But he's just like looking around down there. In Buffy's dorm, we see Buffy looking out the window, and we also see Angel like kind of looking up from the shadows up at Buffy's dorm room. So she can sense again that something's out there.
Mhm.
And Willow is telling her that she overheard them saying that it was part of the old Sunnydale mission that kind of got buried. So she's saying it's very similar to what happened to the church that the master was in.
Yeah.
It just kind of sunk down and was covered up. Um, and Buffy comes away from the window and says, oh, I hear people leaving, saying that everyone's going home for Thanksgiving holiday. And Buffy's sad because her mom is going to be at her aunt's.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really have anywhere to anything or anyone to be with Thanksgiving with.
And it seems to be some sort of nostalgic thing for
Yeah.
her.
She says, I know it's wrong, like all this and that, but when I
Yeah.
smell like a turkey in the oven, I'm 8 years old again. So it's like sense memory. So she's like really
Yeah.
looking forward to that, like something normal. Buffy's always striving for this normality and she wants a normal Thanksgiving. So she decides that she's going to host Thanksgiving herself. She's going to do it, invite everybody, and have a really like wholesome Thanksgiving. And they are
And
going to invite
then
everybody. Hmm.
Willow's all like, "It's a sham," and Buffy says, "But it's a sham with yams. It's a yam sham."
Yeah. And Willow says like, okay, that's fine. We can have, I guess we can have this big meal on this totally random day that means nothing. I feel like when I have a big meal, on a day that happens to be Thanksgiving Day, that's how I do it. I'm just having a big meal on a day.
It's just a thing,
It's
yeah.
not celebrating anything.
Just happens to be that
Just
day.
I have to eat dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am.
I also thought it was funny how, Willow didn't wanna invite Anya.
Yes,
Mm,
Willow
mm,
finds her annoying,
yeah.
and Buffy says that
Everyone needs a place to go.
Her and Xander
Yeah.
have been pretty tight lately, so I think we're gonna have to invite her.
Also,
And
she's trying to be inclusive, and I think that's nice.
she says, "Yeah, like isn't it about everyone having somewhere
Togetherness.
to go?"
Mhm.
And then we
Having
cut
something
to
to do.
that to outside where we see Spike still looking hot, but not looking hot.
He's not looking
Looking a
hot.
bit pale.
Nope, he's looking bad.
I think he's still looking hot, but just a little pale. He could have a little
Mhm.
color in his cheeks. So he is just like stumbling through the woods with like a raggedy old blanket on.
Yeah, he looks like a yeah.
Not doing well.
Nope.
Not doing well. Very pale. Paler than usual. And then we see Riley and co. on patrol.
Look at
Um,
the spike.
yeah. And they're just looking. They're like, why are we out here anyway? This thing, House of 17 slash Spike can't kill anyone because they're just reminding us about the implant. He can't hurt anyone. And they're like, let's just go. Like, we want to go home for Thanksgiving. So Riley says that he is leaving Wednesday night. That Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, so it's going to be a very short visit to family. But yeah, they're lucky. He's like, we are lucky that we're going anywhere with a hostel on the loose.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that Riley's going to go home to, later we find out where, Iowa, for Thanksgiving. So in Xander's basement, Anya comes to find him. She said she went to the site to watch him dig, and he was not there digging. There was no digging. He wasn't there digging. So she came over to see why he wasn't digging.
How dare.
Why aren't you there? Why aren't you digging? And Xander looks pretty bad.
Not looking so good.
He says, I'm just having a hard time getting going this morning. She feels his head. She's like, you're moist. Oh God, you're sick. Like she like realizes he's sick. Like it's like a foreign thing to her now. So she's been a demon for so long.
Human.
Yeah. So she says, you have to stay here. And she like kind of starts like undressing him to get him back into bed. And he says, you're a strange girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you? Yes. So you called me girlfriend. He said, well, I might be just like hallucinating. She says, well, I like it. Whatever's making you sick, I like it because you called me your girlfriend.
I mean, I thought it was kind of a cute moment.
Yeah, so things are
progressing-ish
with them.
Yep.
So in that chamber, we see kind of like a green gas smoke. Yeah, I think it looks like smoke. Like a green smoky gas thing kind of escape out into our world. And then at the Culture Center, Professor Gearhart is talking on the phone about how they're so excited that they found this hidden mission because obviously, it's like an anthropology and archaeology hotspot. There's gonna be a lot to like learn and study and research for this place. But she also does say, now we have to find another site. Obviously, we can't build the building on top of here. So she's hoping it doesn't like take them another year to find a new site. But they are very excited about the discovery. And we see that the green smoke comes down and like turns into a hand on one of the knives that's on display in the Cultural Center. And then we see it's this Native American guy, and he slits her throat.
Yeah.
And kills her. Kills her dead. We come back, and Buffy and Willow are there investigating. So obviously they found the body, yada, yada, yada.
Crime scene.
Yeah, they're at the crime scene. There's like...
She was missing an ear. Very
yellow... Yeah, like there's like the police tape up and everything. Yeah. Yeah, she was missing an ear. And Willow has an idea maybe that it was a spell because, there are some pretty cool spells that need a human ear. But that is pretty much, dispelled because she couldn't cut her own ear off and yada yada. But then Buffy finds that something pretty specific is missing from the case. It's a Chumash knife from the Chumash Indians.
1800s.
Yeah. And that they are indigenous to this area, which we find out from Giles when they go to her house. And they go to Giles' house, and Buffy's starting to unpack all the food. And I love how we think she's talking about a fight. She's like, oh, but this and that. I was going to have to use some Slayer moves for the lady that was hoarding the pumpkin pie filling. So she was really just talking about trying to fight people.
She's really into this Thanksgiving
for Thanksgiving supplies. Yeah. She's totally into it. And Giles says, are we going to talk about the murder? Are we going to get to the murder at any time? So she tells him about the knife, that it was a Chumash knife. And he says, they were indigenous to this whole area. And she feels something. And he says, are you okay? She says, yes. And then she starts to leave. She's going to go, I don't know, where is she going? I don't remember. I think she is
something.
I think she's more Halloween. I keep saying Halloween.
Thanksgiving. Because we're going to get more Thanksgiving things.
Get more Thanksgiving stuff. So she leaves, and we see that Angel was listening inside Giles's apartment. Yep. So Giles knew he was there.
Traitor.
And Giles says, what did you think? He says, she sounds like obsessed with this Thanksgiving. He's like, I mean about the danger. And he says, yeah, I think whatever killed this lady is probably the danger. So there's a little bit of context on Angel here, like the show Angel that we didn't get. The reason Angel is here is because a character from his show called Doyle,
Huh.
who, oh, love that character so much. He's like one of my favorite characters in the whole show.
Huh.
He gets visions of like people that need help, or something like like
Oh,
something that's coming, or like
because
dangers that are
he
coming.
said a friend thought Buffy was in danger.
Yeah, so on
Yeah.
Angel, Doyle had a vision of Buffy in danger. So that is why Angel has come to Sunnydale to like stop it and help her. But he obviously wants to do that without being seen. So he has told Giles this, and then that because of that, Giles let him in and let him kind of like in on this because obviously it's about Buffy's safety, right? So that's kind of the backstory of why he's there and this friend and with the vision and that.
Mm.
So they're kind of talking about what it could mean, like what could it be,
Mhm.
and Giles doesn't like that they're lying. We get that right off the bat. He doesn't
Yeah.
like keeping this from Buffy. It's not fair that Angel is staying hidden, but he says, and rightfully so, it could distract her and it could get her hurt if she knew he was there. I get
I
both.
guess that's fair, but I think he's still being kind of
Yeah.
a selfish jerk.
I get both sides to a degree, you know? So Angel says, "Oh, do you know Father Gabriel? He knows a lot about like the missions and everything. His family dates back to those times, so like you should really talk to him because he probably could maybe fill in some blanks." So Angel goes to leave. Giles says, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to watch her." And then Giles is like, "You know, this is not fair." Now this is like the part where it's not fair.
Mhm.
Coming there and trying to help her, I feel like, and not being seen is one thing, but like just
But like going to watch
following
her.
her around,
Yep.
like to just watch her, that is not fair.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a line for me where I'm like, yes, I'm on Buffy's side, yes, and then I'm like, understand why Angel's doing it. So, yeah, and Giles tells him,
Angel's
it's not
selfish.
fair. It's not fair that you can see her, she can't see you.
Yep.
And Angel says, I'm getting the worst end of the deal here because I have to like look in on what I can't have. So, and we cut again. What they're saying directly relates to Spike because we see him somewhere looking inside of a building watching vamps feed on a human. And
Mm.
he's just like,
He's
it's
so sad.
hungry and weak. He's looking in and like they're feeding and he can't. And he just looks so sad. So in town, Riley runs. Well, first of all, Buffy and Willow are walking down the street talking about, guess
About
what?
real whipping cream.
Yeah, Thanksgiving stuff because Buffy is like still obsessing over it.
She's
But
really obsessing over it.
yeah, Riley runs over and meets up with them, and Willow's like, "Oh, okay. I'm just gonna look at that coffee shop that sells coffee. I'm gonna go over there and check that out." She wanders off so they could like have some, because she's kind of like she's Team Riley. She's trying to like help him.
Yeah, that's cute.
She's Cyranoing him, and so yeah, she's giving them some time to talk. So she wanders off, and Angel comes out of nowhere and kind of grabs her, and she thinks he's evil.
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm not evil. I'm not evil. Why does everyone think I'm evil?" But yeah, she says, "But Buffy, know you're here." No, we kind of get the same kind of a similar conversation we had with Giles, and she's like, "I don't have like time to talk about." He says, "I don't have a lot of time to talk about personal stuff." But she's like, "But is Cordy really working for you?" So yeah, Cordelia is working with Angel,
Weird.
which we
Yeah.
don't.
Okay.
This is the first time we're hearing about this on
Yeah.
the show. So Cordelia is working with Angel in LA.
So Cordelia's on the Angel show now.
Yeah, Cordelia is on
Okay.
Angel.
Okay.
And she kind of wants to scoop and everything, but he says, I'm here like to help Buffy. I can't really talk about this. And she says, okay, like what can I help you with?
Complicated.
And he says, well, first you tell me who's that guy? Because she sees Buffy
Mhm.
talking to Riley. So he's jealous, but he wants to know about that. He wants to know who that guy is. So we see Buffy and Riley talking. They're talking about Thanksgiving plans. Buffy
She
says
invites him.
invites him if he doesn't have plans. Yeah. So that's promising.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't. I'm going home to Iowa.
Yeah. Weird.
And kind of describes like what they do there. And he says sounds like it's from a Grant Woods painting, which I guess is I just looked him up. An artist that like depicts rural Midwestern landscapes.
Mm.
I'd never heard of him before.
Yeah. Same.
And then they kind of talk about the quote about like when you home is a place is when you go they have to let you in, and that's from the Robert Frost poem,
Oh.
The Death of a Hired Man in 1914.
No, I didn't know
That's what
that.
they were quoting that.
Oh. Okay.
So again, this is like a theme. This is the third time what they say then leads to Spike's situation, because Spike tries to go home And it's automatically where Harmony is like, get out. She's like not having it, not
Yep.
letting him back
Good
in
for
not in the
her.
crypt. Yeah. She's, I've been doing a lot of reading and I'm an independent and I don't
That's
need
right.
you.
She doesn't need him. Bye.
But then almost immediately she like starts
Is a
to melt a bit.
pushover. Yep. Because
But
she doesn't want to be alone.
yeah. And but he almost has her there. But then she's
Almost.
like, no, 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 what am I doing? And she pulls a stake out on him.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, you wouldn't." She's like, "Oh, yeah, like you didn't to me."
Yeah, you tried to stake me, buddy.
Yeah.
So she does, she kicks him out.
Good for her.
And he's like, could you just give me someone to eat? She's like, no, get out. So he runs
Bye.
off because he's out there starving with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So he runs off. At the church, Buffy goes to meet Father Gabriel, and she turns the corner to see him being hung, and he is hung already, and his ear being sliced off
Yeah.
by the same Native American warrior that she saw killed, Dr. Gerhardt. So they start fighting, and he tells her his name is Huss, H-U-S, Huss. I think it's Hus. Well, he is like a spirit of vengeance for
Yeah.
like these people.
She can't stop him.
And she does like get him, like she like grabs his arm and is about to stab him with his own knife, like in his hand, but she chokes basically because she feels guilty.
Well, he's like, "You slaughtered my people, and now you're gonna kill their spirit."
Yeah,
That would make me pause.
yeah. So it does. It does make her pause, and then he gets out of it, and then he just like kind of turns into crows, and like
Mm.
takes off. Back at Giles, Buffy's again just gets right back into preparing for Thanksgiving. And she's kind of telling him about how I choked. I choked during the fight. I feel bad. Like I like my men. Like I like my evil.
Bad. Yeah.
Not all wrapped up in this guilt and the destruction of indigenous culture. So she's very conflicted about him, and she doesn't know what to do. She just feels guilty.
Yeah.
But also she freaks out as well that Giles does not have a ricer.
Well, also, I thought it was funny where I didn't write it down exactly, but I think he must have called them Indians, and she's
Hmm.
like Native American, and I was like, "Yep."
Yes. She said, we don't say Indian. We say Native American. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm still having a hard time not referring to you as bloody colonials.
It was a nice,
That was
nice one.
great.
Yeah.
There's a couple digs on him being like the American and British thing. It comes up a few times, because of the whole Revolutionary War thing. So Willow arrives with frozen peas and research, and Buffy is very upset that the peas are frozen, not fresh, because they're going to be mushy.
Yeah.
And Giles says, I like mushy peas. Like, he's excited. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to mushy peas. I don't know if this is a British thing or not, that they like mushy peas.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But she's like, I didn't have time. I have all this information on the Shumash tribe, like what they went through. So she kind of gives us a little a truncated backstory on the Shumash in the area. That they got all these diseases from the Europeans.
Well, and they were peaceful until white people enslaved them.
Yeah, they were peaceful. They were like accused of stealing cattle, so they were hung, and
When they tried rebelling, their ears were chopped off. Like,
yeah, so they were completely like destroyed by the colonials.
So this spirit is just trying to right the wrongs of what happened to them.
Yeah, so they're seeing some similarities. Obviously, the ears, the throat. They got their throats slit. They were hung, and the Father Gabriel was hung. So they're kind of seeing all this like stuff play out again. Like he's doing what was done to his people.
Yeah.
So they're very conflicted. They have a kind of like a three-way. Buffy's very split. Giles is totally on one side and Willow's totally on the other side. So we have them like 1.5 on each side. Willow is very gung-ho that we should not slay this guy. We need to help him find peace or do something. Giles is like, he is killing people. Yeah. We have to slay him. And Buffy's like, I don't know what to do.
I mean, it's hard. Like I see both sides because like exactly. Willow's right. Giles is right.
Yeah. It's a kind of an impossible situation for this.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah. And we do see a wolf outside watching. We see a wolf outside the window watching. That's like one little quick thing.
And yeah, I mean, who's that? Obviously.
Yeah. And they're just like fighting about this. Buffy goes into the kitchen because she needs to baste. She's just focusing on this dinner. And Giles tells Willow, like, hey, like, Angel came. And she's like, I know that. He told me. He's like, when he says, that's not very stealthy of him. He's telling everybody he's here. But he says, Angel's friend had a vision about Buffy. This could be really dangerous for Buffy.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be careful. And they just kind of still keep fighting about who's right in this conflict. And there's another knock on the door, and Buffy opens it, and it's Anya. Yeah, Anya there with Xander, who is looking worse.
Pretty sick.
And people are very concerned about Xander, but Buffy says, "You didn't bring rolls."
Yeah, come on, Buffy.
Priorities, Buffy. Yeah, her priorities are all over the place this episode. So at the cultural center, Who's takes more weapons. He starts clearing out all the other Shumash weapons, and we're like, oh no, that can't be good. Back at Giles, Xander is laying down, and Willow is going through her research more about like what the kind of diseases that the Shumash got from the Europeans, and it was stuff like smallpox, malaria, and syphilis.
Because Xander was all like, oh, the doctor can't figure out what's wrong with me. I have all these symptoms from various different things, and then Willow was talking about all these things, and they're like, huh, Xander has maybe all of those things?
Oh my god. Any of these alone would be like, oh my god. I keep having all three. So he says, he's like, I didn't do anything to him, but he said, you released him because you fell through the chamber. So immediately you were seen as an oppressor. So that's why you got all these diseases. He gave you these diseases. And Xander is, because he has all these diseases, very pro-slay. He's very on the pro-slay side of things.
Syphilis does that to a person. Weird.
Yeah, syphilis just makes you so violent.
So weird.
And he kind of upsets Anya because he says, we don't need to talk to the vengeance demon, we kill it. And of course, Anya's an ex-vengeance demon, so she gets like hurt and upset by him saying that.
I mean, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, I didn't mean you. She's like, well, sometimes vengeance is, it's supposed to happen. All this, and everybody starts fighting. Yeah. And Buffy cannot deal. This whole time she's like mixing something. It kind of looks like pancake mix, but I don't know what she's actually making. And she's like, this is no good. It needs more condensed milk. I mean, everyone thought she was talking about them arguing, but no, she's talking about what she's making. So she gets up.
Just wants a perfect Thanksgiving.
She just wants a perfect Thanksgiving, and everything's getting in the way. She can't deal with this. So there's another knock at the door. She opens it. No one's there. But then we see that Spike comes out of nowhere, and he's like, help me. And so was the question. Spike shows up at Buffy's door asking for help. And she kind of knocks him away.
Wait, and I kind of guessed right. I said it was Spike or Anya, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So she kind of pushes him away. It's daytime, and he's starting to he's smoking.
Sizzling.
He's soaking, and he's with a blanket over his head. He's like, let me in, please. She's like, hey, how am I going to let you? Why am I going to let you in?
Why would I do that?
He says that he has got all the information on the commandos, because obviously he was captured by them, so that could be helpful. So basically he's trying to barter for help and blood, somewhere to go, for exchange of information. And he does say, I can't even hurt you. They did something to me, and I can't hurt anybody now. And Willow confirms.
Yeah, he has trouble before
Willow, tell him what I did. So, you said you were gonna kill me and then Buffy. He said,
oh yeah, that
was bad, but what else? I couldn't do it. He's like, no, he couldn't bite me.
He had trouble performing. That was funny.
Yeah. So they are going to let him in. Yeah. So back in the chamber, Hoos has used rising other warriors with the other weapons. So now he's got
shit's getting real.
We're getting more people involved in this now.
More revenge spirits.
Yep. So back at Giles, Spike is tied to a chair.
That's a good idea. I like this. Yeah.
Buffy's like, you're going to be tied up if you're going to be here. And they're already sniping each other, and he wants blood. And she says, okay, tell me everything that you know. But he wants to be fed first. And she says, okay, well, you can stay here then. So it's just a stalemate on that for now. Giles kind of says, who seems like he's going after authority figures.
Except for Xander.
except for Xander. I think because he was just at the first. He was the one that
Yeah.
released him. He was just
Yeah.
there. Wrong place, wrong time for Xander. So they say, well, who else could fit this pattern? And of course, they say the dean because he's obviously the boss of the students. So they're figuring out what to do. And Spike, they start arguing about what to do with him, whether to slay, all of this. And Spike gives this big speech about conquering nations, about how that's how it goes, that whoever's the strongest wipes out another population and takes the land.
Mm-hmm.
And so Willow, Xander, and Anya go to warn the dean. That's, there could be a threat to him.
Yeah.
Later, Buffy's setting the table. Buffy, Giles, and Spike are there. Okay, Spike is still just tied to the chair. And they get attacked. They start.
Do they ever? They get ambushed.
It's like a siege. All the different warriors are around Giles' apartment, outside at this point, like in windows and stuff. And as Giles is pulling Buffy away to safety, she says, "You can have casinos now."
Oh God. That was not PC.
No. She was just, she was trying.
Mm-hmm.
At the dean's house, Willow, Xander, and Anya are leaving, and the dean is fine. And he says, "I think they thought we were crazy because, it didn't help that Anya opened the conversation with everybody got both ears." Yeah. So, but I mean, I guess they weren't too upset with her because they did give Anya some pie.
That's nice.
And they're leaving. They're not really sure what to do. They're like, we could stay here and keep an eye out, or we know what to do. But then Angel shows up. And of course, Xander didn't know he was there. It's like, "Oh, are you evil?" He's like, "Why does everyone think I'm evil? I've been evil for a long time." But he says all the weapons are missing from the cultural center. So that something's going on. So Willow and them kind of fill him in on the authority figure theory. And Angel says, well, for him, it would be the strongest fighter, which would be Buffy. So they realize that they've gone the wrong path on this theory, but they're going to be coming after Buffy instead. So Angel's like, "I'll warn them. You guys get there," and he like breaks the lock off some bikes, and so they're going to ride their bikes over. Come on, doesn't anyone have a license by now?
But also, like when they're riding the bikes, is that supposed to be like a scene from something? I feel like they were recreating something, but I just wasn't sure what it was.
I don't think they're recreating it, but it was like I don't think so.
Really?
I didn't see that anywhere, but it was meant to be like the cavalry coming in, but I don't think it was a specific nod to anything.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
So at Giles's, they are fully under siege. They are hiding.
Yeah.
Arrows are flying everywhere.
Spike has bow was hanging out.
Yeah, Spike is starting to get hit because they just left him. They're just like, "You'll be fine. You just leave you to that chair there." Buffy tries to reach her weapons chest or Giles' weapons chest and gets shot by arrow in the arm.
Yeah, damn.
And Spike is like, "What's going on?" He's trying to like bounce around in his chair to find out, see what's going on because he's still tied. Yeah, and Spike gets shot, and he's like, "Hey, watch the heart," because it was in his chest. So the gang arrives. Well, first of all, Giles gets a phone call saying, "Hey, they're coming to get you." And Giles is like, "Yeah, we know, thanks." And when Buffy asks, "Who's that?" He's like, someone. Because he can't say Angel.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
So they need help. They're totally like surrounded, and the gang arrives on their bikes, and there's like this like dramatic music. It was a great little scene. And they start to fight everyone that's like out in the courtyard of Giles's building. And we kind of find out that they can't be killed. So eventually the guy comes in, the main Hoos, and Buffy starts to fight him. She has a weapon and she stabs him, but nothing happens.
Yep.
So they can't be killed.
Oh crap moment.
Yeah, and Willow and Anya are like beating one of them with shovels on the outside, and they just won't die.
Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. Yeah, so this fight goes on a while. Spike keeps getting more arrows shot into him. He has like had it with the situation. And then Angel arrives, and he kind of like helps them fight outside. So Buffy's inside, doesn't know she's there. Eventually, Buffy is able to get his own knife and like cuts his arm, so she can see that his own knife can hurt him. So he basically turns into a bear
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God." And Spike's like, "You, a bear, undo it. You
You
made a
made a
bear.
bear.
You made a bear." She's like,
She's like, I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to make a bear."
Undo it.
Yeah, undo it. Spike's like, "Oh my God, why did I come here?" Yeah, so she eventually is able to stab the bear with the knife, and that does it. He kind of turns green again, turns back momentarily into the warrior, and then just like dissipates.
Disappears.
And all the other warriors also
They
disappear.
do the same thing.
Yeah,
And
when their leader.
Angel stays hidden.
Yeah, Angel, and he does like actually during the fight also. This is like a pretty long fight scene. He does see one of the warriors about to get Buffy as she's fighting another one, and he does throw a knife and like kill him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was like looking out for her there. So he just gives one look in the window to make sure she's okay, and then he just walks away, walks out the stairs. And Buffy like feels something and looks out the window, but she doesn't see anything because Angel's already
She
gone.
misses him.
She's like feels like something's like a deja vu or something. She keeps wanting to look like she senses something's around her. Oh yeah, a couple things that were references. When Huss turns into a bear, Xander does use potatoes to distract him, throws potatoes at him for giving him syphilis, and he calls him Gentle Ben. And I was like, I don't know what that means. So that was like a old novel and then turned into a movie where it was about a friendship between a boy and a bear.
Yeah, that's cute. Okay.
So there you go. I didn't know that reference. I looked it up. So they finally get to sit down to dinner, and I love how there's still an arrow stuck into the table from the
I
fight.
miss that. Nice.
Yeah. So and they did like scoot Spike up to the table, so he's sitting there with them, even though he's still tied up. So he's grumbling about they all got to eat. He's still hungry. He didn't get anything. No one bled. Like not fair. And Giles is telling her like, "Good job on the meal and on the fighting." She's thanks, but I wasn't a perfect Thanksgiving. And they're trying to cheer her up. Willow says, "Maybe we start a new tradition," and they're all like, "I hope not, because we don't want to do this every year."
No.
And then Xander says, we had. Seems like a regular Thanksgiving to me. We had a big fight and then had a big meal, and now we're all sleepy. That's probably how it goes at Xander's house. A big fight. And, said it was kind of like being, like it was like old times. And then Xander says, yeah, especially with Angel being here and everything.
They made it almost the whole way through.
Yeah, Xander spilled the beans.
Close.
And that last like shot of everyone looking at her.
Yeah.
And like Spike smirking. Like everyone's like, oh no. And Xander's like, oops. So Buffy knows that Angel was there.
But then that was it.
That's it.
So we don't really know what her reaction was.
We don't yet.
Yeah. Yet. Oh, okay.
I will say that the next Angel episode, if you don't want to know about Angel, fast forward like 30 seconds. The next Angel episode is a very, very good one, and I recommend you watch it. You don't have to do notes on it or anything, but it's called I Will Remember You, and it's very much still part of like, if you have time, I'd recommend you watching it, because it is a crossover.
Like an Angel show episode?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
The one, it's called I Will Remember You. If you have time, you could watch that one up. It dovetails into this episode.
Okay, I don't know.
You don't have to, but I can tell you off pod what happens in it if you want to know, because it does tie into him showing up in Sunnydale.
Interesting.
It is a good episode. But yeah, so there definitely are consequences to his visit.
Well, I would think so.
We don't really get them on Buffy. We get them on Angel. That's why. Yeah. So if you have time, if not, I can fill you in. So, all right. So my favorite quote was, "I like my evil like I like my men." Evil. But there were so many good. There were so many good.
There were a lot of good quotes. It was hard.
It was hard.
It was.
I also like when Xander says, "Can we come rocketing back to me and my new syphilis?" And then my syphilis is clearing right up. There's a lot of good syphilis lines. You made a bear, undo it.
Undo it.
Oh my God. It was I like mushy peas. How could somebody not have a ricer? I don't know. Do you have one at home? I don't know. What's a ricer? Like, there was so many good lines in this.
Mm,
So
mm,
many. And then I think my favorite scene was the whole big fight scene. It was so funny. There was so much going on. Everybody was involved. I mean, it was a
yeah,
perfect Buffy fight scene.
it was a very good Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah, it was good. I think it's the only one we ever get, if I remember. So yeah, it was good.
Okay. My favorite line is when Spike says, "I'm saying that Spike had a little trip to the vet and now he doesn't
Chase the other
chase the other
puppy
puppies anymore."
anymore. Again, another great one.
Oh, that was so funny. I I think I was drinking something and I spit it out when he said that. It was so funny.
Such a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite scene, I don't know. Like it's I don't can't really pick.
Yeah.
Everything was just so funny.
Yeah, it was.
Probably the fight scene at the or no, like I mean probably at the end at the table when they were just like all finally sitting down together and it's just yeah. And then when Xander was like something about Angel or whatever, and it's like so typical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. That last shot I think is so funny. So my steak rating, 5 out of 5.
Whoa.
I love this episode.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I watch it a lot. I think it's just so fun. I just
You said
cackle.
this is your fifth favorite episode?
No,
Oh,
no.
oh.
Next week's is one of my top 5.
Next week's is one of your top five. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is also extremely hilarious. But I just love this episode.
Okay.
I still after all these years I just cackle when I watch it. So it's a good episode to just put on
Okay.
randomly.
Okay.
So yeah. So I said it was so funny, so many good lines. I just think it's so well written.
Yeah.
I said we kind of talked about this before. I said it's a little bit before its time if you bring the issue up about the like conflicting narrative around Thanksgiving and colonials and indigenous people.
Yeah.
So I think that even took that on in 1999 was
Mm-hmm.
admirable. I think it had good intentions. I think like I read somewhere somebody like reviewed this they reviewed this episode or something and they were like they attempted to say something but then ended up not saying anything because they never really came down on the side of anything, which I don't think necessarily is a like makes it a bad episode. I just
Yeah.
they raise the issue and then they just kind of leave it there, I guess.
Yeah.
So some people might think that's bad, but I just think that it was brought up at all is a good thing. Also, it reminded me kind of as a Canadian, Degrassi: The Next Generation,
Okay.
Manny's abortion episodes, like how many years ago, where one of the characters had an abortion, and like
Okay.
some countries like abandoned that episode,
Oh wow,
those
really?
episodes.
Huh, that's
Yeah.
dumb.
So I don't know. I kind of like tie those together. Like that was like when I was like in
Mm.
early high school. Like that was when that was airing. So not much longer after this. So I think like just kind of putting some of these issues, addressing them in fiction,
Yeah.
real life issues in fiction. Like I could, not liked by everyone, but I think well intentioned.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe necessary to start conversations about things.
exactly. So I look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that Angel was back, first time back since he left. So
Mhm.
that definitely gave this episode a little bit of a different flavor to it. And I love the ending. I think that last ending
It was
part, that
so
last
good.
scene is so funny. I
Yeah.
love it.
It
Yeah.
was
So
really funny.
that's one of my favorite endings
Mhm.
of an episode.
Yeah.
So yeah. So a 5 out of 5. Classic Buffy has everything a Buffy episode should have.
Okay. I gave it a 4.8 just because I don't know, that is one of the best
That's
ratings I can
high.
give
That's
something. Yeah, it's
high.
really high for me. So, yeah, I mean, everything you said, I just thought it was really cute. The whole episode, she was just so focused on like trying to get everyone together to have this ideal, idyllic Thanksgiving supper. She wanted everyone together and just she was having those nostalgia feels. So just like her doing that while also trying to like figure out this like vengeance spirit thing
Mhm.
and Spike the whole Spike stuff was really funny.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Yeah. It was just good all over.
Yeah, we didn't talk. You mostly brought up the Buffy's Thanksgiving thing, but yeah, it's true. Like her striving, she's rarely. I would say this episode with the Thanksgiving thing, the homecoming court thing, or the
Yeah.
homecoming queen thing,
Mhm.
also severely sidetracked by that.
When
Like
she's
she
so
does have these
focused.
moments
Yeah.
where she is this hyper
She's
focused on
trying to be
normality.
normal, yeah, the sense of normalcy that she's trying to attain, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't always work out for her, but she's trying.
Yeah. So we see that in this episode where she's
Mhm.
just like laser focused on normality.
Exactly.
And of
Yes.
course, it totally fails every time.
Yeah. Demons ensue.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but she's very like, you know, she's
This is happening.
over her dead body. She's gonna be homecoming queen,
The
or she's gonna have the perfect Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, poor thing.
Yeah.
You know, she needs to realize her normal is not everybody else's normal.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe one day she'll get that. Not right now. She hasn't got it
No,
yet.
no,
Yeah.
no.
So yeah, that was a big, obviously overarching theme in the episode as well. Okay, so that was Pangs. All right, so for next week, your
Season 4, episode
9,
9, Something Blue.
Something Blue.
Is it supposed to make me think of a wedding?
I don't know.
Wow, okay.
But this is it's a very funny episode. I love it.
This is your 5th favorite episode.
I don't say it's like number 5. It's in my
it's
5.
in your top 5. Okay, got
Yeah.
it. Sorry. Okay. In your top 5. Okay.
They my top 5 one always stays the same, but then the other one's kind of just like depending on my mood or whatever. Whatever one I watch, recency bias, whichever one I watch last is like my favorite. Yeah, Something Blue. So, what television show does Spike like to watch? And I'll even give you a huge hint.
I'm gonna need a hint.
It's a soap opera.
Oh God, I don't know my soap operas.
I'll give you another hint. Okay? I'm basically feeding you the answer. It was a soap opera. I don't watch soap operas. I never did. But there was one soap opera I super got into.
Oh, shit.
And it's the same soap opera that Spike likes.
I don't think I knew you watched a soap opera.
I don't watch it now, but
Okay, let's think of soap opera names that I know. As the World Turns is one.
yeah, that is one.
Okay. Coronation Street. I don't think that's it.
I mean, that's a UK one, but yes. Which would make sense.
I mean, in Canada, it's really popular. So, oh my God, are those the only 2 soap operas I can think of? As the World Turns. I literally can't think of any other soap opera names.
I can think of at least 3 more.
Am I allowed to use Google to look up names?
Fine.
Okay.
I will. Yeah, because you have no idea, so it might just be a
I have
random
no
guess
idea.
anyway.
Okay, here we go. Soap operas. Oh, in the 90s. Great. Okay. What? These are not soap operas. They're showing me like Felicity and
Oh, because
Hollyoaks.
I get technically, yeah. Sometimes those are
Twin
referred to as
Peaks.
the
Sure.
yeah. That's out there, but sometimes these
Oh God.
dramas are classified as
Okay, wait. Oh, here we go.
daytime
Okay.
soaps.
All My Children, One Life to Live, Guiding Light. Okay, so
Yeah,
these are
all
the ones we're
those.
thinking of.
Yeah,
Oh, The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful. Oh, General Hospital. Oh, these are the ones I'm thinking of.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's probably The Young and the Restless or The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm gonna go with The Young and the Restless.
Okay,
Final
Young and the
answer.
Restless. Okay, final answer. All right, we'll see. Spike likes to watch a soap opera. Who knew? That's his late night. You know, like those late night shows. You know, like Jay Leno and everything, because it's during the daytime, so he's staying up late watching the soap operas.
This is like his daytime.
It's like reversed.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we'll see if that's the case. So that wraps up season 4, episode 8, Pangs. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube and Instagram at One Girl All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with season 4, episode 9, Something Blue. See you real soon. Bye.